During the divorce at 72, I decided to give everything to my wife. My lawyer begged me to stop, but I signed the documents with a smile. No one knew that I had already won the case when her lawyer read the document. I'm glad you're here with me. Please like this video and listen to my story till the end, and let me know which city you're listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. My name is Timothy Campbell, and at 72 years old, I thought I knew everything about my wife Jennifer. We built our life together from nothing. A modest house in Texas, 2 children we raised with love, and a small construction business that grew into something we could be proud of. I figured we'd spend our remaining years enjoying what we'd earned together. But life has a way of showing you the truth when you least expect it. For 45 years, I believed Jennifer was my partner. We started Campbell Construction in 1983 with a beat-up pickup truck and more dreams than money. I was 39, she was 35, and we had everything ahead of us. I did the physical work, pouring foundations, framing houses, managing crews. Jennifer handled the office side, bookkeeping, permits, customer relations. Together we built something real, something that mattered. By 2020, our business was worth about $2.5 million. Not bad for a kid who started swinging hammers at 18. We had steady contracts, good employees, and a reputation that meant something in our community. I thought we were set for a comfortable retirement. But it started with small things. Jennifer began working late more frequently at the office. She'd come home smelling of cologne that wasn't mine, something expensive and young. When I asked about it, she'd wave me off and say it was from a client meeting. Her phone, once carelessly left on the kitchen counter, now lived permanently in her purse. Password protected. Jennifer, are you seeing someone? I asked her one evening over dinner. She looked at me with those brown eyes that once made me feel like I could build anything. Timothy, don't be ridiculous. I'm 68 years old. Who would I be seeing? I wanted to believe her. God, how I wanted to believe her. But then came the bank statements. Charges at expensive restaurants. I'd never been to hotel rooms in the city when she claimed to be at business conferences. Jewelry purchases that never appeared on her dresser. I sat at our kitchen table, hands trembling as I calculated the amounts, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. How long had this been going on? The breaking point came on a Tuesday morning. I found a birthday card in her purse while looking for aspirin. To my darling Jennifer, thank you for making me feel alive again. Forever yours, Bradley. There was a lipstick kiss at the bottom. My hands shook as I read it again and again, like maybe the words might change. Bradley, his name was Bradley that evening. I confronted her. No more hints, no more careful questions. I placed the card on the dinner table between us. Who is he? Jennifer's face went white, then red. For a moment, I saw something I'd never seen before. Panic. But it quickly transformed into something worse. Cold determination. I want a divorce, she said flatly. I've already spoken to my lawyer. Just like that, 45 years dismissed with a single sentence. We can split things fairly, I began, but she cut me off. Fair? She laughed, a sound without humor. Timothy, I ran this business. You were just the labor. I handled the real work, the finances, the planning, the business decisions. You swung hammers and drove trucks. Good luck proving otherwise in court. I felt the floor tilt beneath me. Jennifer, we built this together. I worked 12-hour days for 30 years. You were never officially a co-owner for most of it. I've been very careful about that. She stood up, adjusting her blouse. My lawyer will be in touch. I suggest you get one too. She left that night and never came back. Looking back now, I realize that was the moment everything changed. Not when I found the card, but when she dismissed 30 years of my work like it meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. 3 weeks later, I sat in my lawyer's office. Kevin Mitchell had been recommended by my son Ryan. He was reviewing Jennifer's proposed settlement with increasing alarm. Mr. Campbell, this is robbery, he said, looking up from the papers. She's offering you $75,000 and the furniture, that's it. The business is worth at least $2.5 million and the house is worth $950,000. I did the math in my head. $75,000 out of roughly $3.5 million in total assets. About 2%. What are my chances if we fight? I asked quietly. Kevin hesitated. Honestly, it's difficult. She structured everything very carefully over the years. The business is primarily in her name now. You stopped being on the paperwork around 2005. Texas law would give you something, but proving your contribution after all this time. It could take years in court, cost a fortune in legal fees, and you might end up with less than if you, what if I just sign? I interrupted. Kevin stared at me. I'm sorry? What if I agree to her terms, just sign everything over? Mr. Campbell, I strongly advise against. But I was already reaching for the pen. I saw the exact moment Jennifer's lawyer, a sharp-eyed woman named Angela White, realized what I was doing. She tried to hide her smile. Are you certain about this? Kevin asked desperately. Please think about your future. Where will you live? How will you support yourself? I signed the last page and looked up with a smile that confused everyone in the room. Don't worry, Kevin, I said softly. I know exactly what I'm doing. Nobody knew that I'd already won. They just didn't know it yet. I left Kevin's office and sat in my truck for 20 minutes before I could turn the key. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the steering wheel. What had I just done? I'd signed away everything. My home, my security, my future. For a moment, panic threatened to consume me. Then I remembered something my old foreman used to say, measure twice, cut once. I'd been measuring for weeks. I drove to the small apartment I'd rented after Jennifer left. 1 bedroom, thin walls, a view of the parking lot. This was my life now at 72 years old. I made coffee with trembling hands and sat at the tiny kitchen table, forcing myself to breathe slowly. What did I have left? I opened my old filing cabinet. One of the few things I'd managed to take from the house. I'd always been a meticulous record keeper. Every receipt, every permit, every document from our entire business relationship. Jennifer used to tease me about it. Timothy and his filing system, she'd laugh. He could find a receipt from 1985 if you needed it. I could indeed. I spent that entire night going through files. My back ached, my eyes burned, but I kept searching. And slowly, carefully, I found them. Evidence. Not just receipts. Something better, building permits. Dozens of building permits from the early years, signed by both Timothy Campbell and Jennifer Campbell as licensed contractors, business proposals where I was listed as co-owner, insurance documents naming me as primary contractor, the original business license from 1983, Campbell Construction, owned by Timothy Campbell and Jennifer Campbell. My hands stopped shaking. The next morning, I called a different lawyer. Not Kevin. He was a good man, but he'd seen me sign those papers. He'd think I'd lost my mind if I came back now. I needed someone who didn't know about my surrender yesterday. Brian Rodriguez had a reputation. He was expensive, aggressive, and known for winning cases everyone else thought were lost. I'd like to schedule a consultation, I said, when his secretary answered. It's regarding a divorce settlement. Mr. Rodriguez's calendar is quite full, but we might have an opening next month. I have original building permits proving joint ownership of a $2.5 million construction company that my wife claims she built alone. I also have evidence she's been hiding assets, and I signed away everything yesterday, but the papers haven't been filed yet. There was a pause. Can you be here at 2:00 today? Brian Rodriguez was in his 50s with silver hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. He listened while I explained everything. The affair, Jennifer's threats, my signing of the documents yesterday, and the box of evidence I'd brought. He looked through my files for 45 minutes without speaking. Finally, he leaned back in his chair. Mr. Campbell, do you know what you've done? My heart sank. Made a terrible mistake? No. A slow smile crossed his face. You've given yourself the perfect position. You signed under duress with inadequate legal representation and without full disclosure of marital assets. More importantly, you signed yesterday, but the papers haven't been filed yet. He tapped my original business license. This document alone changes everything. And you said Jennifer told you the business was solely hers because you'd never contributed. Yes, in front of her lawyer, even better. That's called fraudulent concealment. He leaned forward. Mr. Campbell, you haven't lost anything. You've laid a trap, and your wife walked right into it. For the first time in weeks, I felt something I'd almost forgotten. Hope? Brian didn't waste time. By the end of our meeting, he'd outlined a strategy that made my head spin. First, we file a motion to set aside the settlement, he explained. We'll claim duress, inadequate representation, and failure to disclose assets. But here's the key. We don't just defend. We attack. Attack. How? We're filing for forensic accounting of the business. We're going to examine every transaction for the past 10 years. If Jennifer's been hiding money, moving assets, or undervaluing the business, we'll find it. He smiled. And based on what you've told me about recent expensive dinners and hotels, I'd bet my reputation she's been using business funds for personal expenses related to her affair. The next morning, Brian filed the paperwork. Jennifer's lawyer called him at noon, furious. What did you tell her? I asked. that my client has reconsidered the settlement after discovering evidence of asset concealment and marital fraud. I also informed her we'll be deposing Mrs. Campbell about the business finances and her relationship with a Mr. Bradley Foster. I heard my own sharp intake of breath. You know his last name? I know everything now, Mr. Campbell. Bradley Foster, 45 years old, works as a construction supervisor for a company that supplies services to your business. They've been seeing each other for approximately 3 years. She's been paying for an apartment for him in Austin using business funds, 3 years. While I'd been at home planning our retirement, she'd been building a whole separate life. Are you all right? Brian asked gently. Yes, I said, surprised to find it was true. The initial shock had passed. Now I just felt cold determination. What happens next? Next, we wait for them to make a move. And Mr. Campbell, they will make a move. Brian was right. 2 days later, my phone rang at 7 in the morning. Jennifer, Timothy, her voice was tight, controlled. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you, Jennifer. You hired Brian Rodriguez. She spat the name like a curse. What are you trying to do? The settlement was fair. Fair? I laughed. And it felt good. You tried to steal everything I helped build over 45 years. You called $75,000 fair for half a lifetime of work. Silence on the other end. Then, Timothy, you're 72 years old. Do you really want to spend your final years in court fighting over money? We could resolve this amicably. Like you resolved our marriage amicably by having a 3-year affair with a man young enough to be your grandson? I heard her suck in a breath. How did you? Never mind. Timothy, be reasonable. The business is mine. I built it. We built it, I interrupted. I have the original permits, Jennifer, from 1983. Campbell Construction, owned by Timothy Campbell and Jennifer Campbell. Remember that? Or have you conveniently forgotten? The silence stretched so long I thought she'd hung up. Those papers don't mean anything, she finally said, but her voice had lost its certainty. I restructured the business legally in 2005. After I'd worked there for 22 years as co-owner. My lawyer is very interested in why you restructured it. And he's even more interested in the apartment you've been paying for in Austin using business funds, Jennifer. That's called embezzlement. You can't prove. I can prove everything. I have 45 years of records, every permit, every receipt, every document. You used to laugh at my filing system. You're not laughing now, are you? Another long silence. When she spoke again, her voice had changed. It was harder, colder. You're making a mistake, Timothy. You're going to regret this. The only thing I regret is trusting you. I hung up. The forensic accountant's report arrived 3 weeks later. Brian called me to his office to review it, and I could hear the satisfaction in his voice before I even sat down. Mr. Campbell, your instincts were correct. Jennifer has been systematically siphoning money from the business for years. He slid a thick document across his desk. Over the past 3 years alone, she's diverted approximately $380,000 to personal use. Almost all of it related to her affair with Mr. Foster. I stared at the numbers. Luxury hotel stays, designer jewelry, the apartment rent, even a car. A BMW she'd registered in Bradley's name. She used our business, I said slowly. The business we built together to fund her affair. Yes. And that's not all. She's also been undervaluing the business in her financial disclosures. She claimed it's worth $1.2 million. Our analysis suggests it's closer to $2.5 million. Brian leaned forward. Mr. Campbell, we have her completely. That afternoon, Brian filed an amended complaint adding charges of financial fraud and misappropriation of marital assets. He also requested an emergency freeze on all business accounts and Jennifer's personal accounts until the matter was resolved. The response was immediate and vicious. At 800 that night, my daughter Lisa called. Her voice panicked. Dad, Mom just called me. She's furious. She's saying terrible things about you, that you're trying to destroy her, that you're being vindictive and cruel. She said if you don't drop this lawsuit, she'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. What kind of person? I asked calmly. She didn't specify. She just kept saying she has information that would ruin your reputation. Dad, what is she talking about? Nothing, sweetheart. She's desperate and she's lashing out. I paused. Did she try to turn you against me? She tried. She said you were never really a partner in the business, that you're lying about your contributions. But Dad, I remember you working there when I was little. I remember you handling crews, talking to suppliers, making decisions. How can she lie like that? Her voice broke. How can she lie like that? Because she's protecting herself and her new life, I said quietly. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle of this. After we hung up, I sat in the darkness of my small apartment. Jennifer was trying to isolate me, turn our children against me. It was a classic move. And for a moment, fear crept in. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Drop the lawsuit or everyone will know the truth about you. I stared at it. What truth? I'd lived an honest life. Whatever Jennifer was threatening was a bluff. But the messages kept coming over the next 2 days, anonymous texts. A threatening letter pushed under my apartment door. You're going to lose everything. You're making yourself look pathetic. She was going to leave you anyway. You're old and you weren't enough for her. That last one stung more than I wanted to admit. On the third day, I arrived at my apartment to find Bradley Foster sitting in his car in the parking lot. He was handsome in that artificial way some men get when they work out too much and spend too much on clothes. When he saw me, he got out. Mr. Campbell, I need to talk to you. I should have walked away. Instead, I stopped. You're Bradley? Yes. Look, I know you probably hate me. I don't hate you, I interrupted. I don't know you well enough to hate you. You're just the man who helped destroy my marriage. He flinched. Jennifer and I love each other. She told me her marriage was over long before we met. How original. I turned toward my apartment. If you're here to plead her case, save your breath. I'm here to tell you to drop the lawsuit. His voice rose. You're ruining her life. The account freeze means she can't pay her bills, can't run the business properly. You're being cruel and vindictive. I turned back slowly. I'm being vindictive. She tried to leave me with $75,000 after 45 years of marriage. She used money from our business that I helped build to buy you presents and pay for your apartment. And I'm the villain. She deserves to be happy. Then she should have divorced me honestly, fairly, and given me what I was owed. Instead, she tried to steal everything. I walked closer to him. You want to know what's cruel, Bradley? Lying to someone for 3 years, making them feel crazy for suspecting the truth, trying to rob them of their future security. That's cruel, he glared at me, tears in his eyes. Jennifer said you'd be like this, bitter and jealous. I'm not bitter, I said, and realized it was true. I'm just done being a victim. I went inside and locked the door. My hands were shaking, but I also felt strangely energized. Jennifer and Bradley were desperate. They were making mistakes, showing their hand. Brian had been right, we were winning. The trial began on a cold December morning. I sat beside Brian in the courtroom, watching Jennifer and Angela White enter. Bradley wasn't there. He'd been subpoenaed to testify, but was scheduled for later in the week. Judge Nicole Brown presided, a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. Angela started with her opening statement, painting Jennifer as a businesswoman who'd built a successful company through vision and management skills. Mr. Campbell contributed labor to the household enterprise, she said. But his role in the business was minimal and ceased entirely 15 years ago. Then it was Brian's turn. Your Honor, this is a case about theft, not just of money, but of credit, recognition, and dignity. The evidence will show that Timothy Campbell was not merely a laborer. He was a co-founder and equal partner who worked tirelessly for 30 years. Over the next 2 days, Brian methodically built our case. He presented the original 1983 business license showing both our names as owners. He showed permits and documents from the 1980s and 1990s where Jennifer herself had listed us as co-owners. Scott Martinez, a former employee my son had contacted, testified about my role. Timothy Campbell ran those job sites, he said firmly. He managed crews, handled client relations, made all the technical decisions. Everyone knew he was the boss. Jennifer handled the office, but Timothy built the business. 2 other former employees confirmed his testimony. Then came the forensic accountant. She walked the judge through Jennifer's financial irregularities with devastating precision. Over the past 3 years, Mrs. Campbell diverted approximately $380,000 from business accounts to personal use, she testified. This includes $68,000 for an apartment lease, $95,000 in luxury purchases, $52,000 in hotel stays, all related to her extramarital relationship. How significant is the business undervaluation? Judge Brown asked. She claimed the business was worth $1.2 million. Based on standard valuation methods, the business is worth approximately $2.5 million. I watched Jennifer's face as the numbers were laid bare. She looked sick. On the 3rd day, Jennifer took the stand. Angela tried to rehabilitate her image, but Brian's cross-examination was surgical. Mrs. Campbell, you testified that your husband had only a minimal role in the business. Yet I'm showing you a building permit you signed in 1987. Can you read the highlighted section? Jennifer's hands trembled slightly as she held the document. It says, Lessenstedt Contractors, Timothy Campbell and Jennifer Campbell, licensed and contractors, Brian repeated. Both of you, not just you supervising his labor, but both of you as qualified professionals. Is that correct? That was just. We were married. It was a formality that lasted for 22 years until you suddenly restructured the business in 2005 on advice from our accountant. I see. And when did you decide to start embezzling from the business to fund your affair? Objection, Angela stood. Counsel is badgering the witness. Sustained, Judge Brown said, but she was looking at Jennifer with open skepticism. When Bradley testified the next day, he was clearly uncomfortable. Brian was gentle with him at first, establishing the timeline of the affair, the apartment, the gifts. Then he asked Mr. Foster, Were you aware that Mrs. Campbell was using business funds to pay for your apartment and gifts? Bradley hesitated. I didn't think about where the money came from. You didn't think about it, even though you work in construction and understand how business finances work. Brian showed him a text message, one we'd recovered from Jennifer's phone records. This is a text you sent Mrs. Campbell last year. Can you read it? Bradley's face went pale. It says, Thanks for the new truck, baby. Hope the old man doesn't miss the money, lol. The courtroom was silent. So you did know, Brian said quietly. You knew she was stealing from her husband to buy you gifts, and you laughed about it. Bradley started to say something, but the damage was done. Judge Brown delivered her ruling on a Friday afternoon, exactly 2 weeks after the trial began. The courtroom was packed. My children sat behind me along with several former employees who'd come to show support. I've reviewed all the evidence and testimony carefully. Judge Brown began. This is one of the clearest cases of marital fraud I've encountered in 20 years on the bench. I felt Brian's hand briefly squeeze mine in encouragement. The evidence is overwhelming that Timothy Campbell was a co-founder and equal partner in Campbell Construction. The original business license, contemporaneous documents, and credible witness testimony all confirm this. Mrs. Campbell's attempt to erase his contributions and claim sole ownership is not only dishonest, it's legally fraudulent. Angela started to stand, but Judge Brown held up a hand. I'm not finished. The forensic evidence shows that Mrs. Campbell systematically embezzled marital assets to fund an extramarital affair, then deliberately undervalued the business in her financial disclosures. She lied under oath and attempted to deprive her husband of his rightful share of marital property. The judge's voice grew harder. Therefore, I'm ruling as follows. She looked directly at Jennifer. First, Campbell Construction is declared marital property. Mr. Campbell is entitled to a 60% share of its true value, which I'm setting at $2.5 million. That's $1.5 million. Angela whispered urgently to Jennifer, but Jennifer seemed frozen. Second, Mrs. Campbell must reimburse the marital estate for the $380,000 she embezzled. Third, the marital home is awarded entirely to Mr. Campbell as compensation for Mrs. Campbell's fraudulent actions. I did the math quickly. $1.5 million plus the $950,000 house. Fourth, Mrs. Campbell will pay Mr. Campbell's legal fees in their entirety. Fifth, I'm ordering an IRS audit of Campbell Construction as the evidence suggests potential tax fraud. Jennifer finally reacted, half rising from her chair. Your Honor, you can't. Sit down, Mrs. Campbell. Judge Brown's voice cut like ice. I can, and I have. Your behavior in this case has been reprehensible. She looked at her notes one more time. Mr. Campbell will retain approximately $2.45 million in assets. Mrs. Campbell, after satisfying this judgment, will retain what's left. After satisfying this judgment, Jennifer would have virtually nothing. This judgment is effective immediately. Mrs. Campbell has 90 days to satisfy the monetary portions. Judge Brown looked at me directly for the first time. Mr. Campbell, your documentation was instrumental in achieving this outcome. Your attention to detail over 45 years preserved evidence that would otherwise have been lost. Thank you, Your Honor, I managed to say. We're adjourned. The gavel struck one final time. The courtroom erupted. My children rushed forward, embracing me. Former employees shook my hand. Brian was grinning broadly. I turned to look at Jennifer. She sat slumped in her chair, Angela leaning over her. Bradley had disappeared. Later that evening, Brian called me. Timothy, I need to tell you something. Jennifer's declared bankruptcy. She can't pay the judgment. What does that mean? It means she's lost everything. The business partnership is dissolving. She'll be forced to sell her remaining stake at a loss. With the IRS investigation and her other debts, she'll walk away with nothing. I absorbed this information. The woman who tried to leave me with $75,000 was now destitute. How do you feel? Brian asked gently. I searched my heart carefully. I feel free, I finally said. Not because she's suffering, just because it's finally over. 6 months later, I stood in the kitchen of my house now. Ryan was helping me fix a leaky faucet while Lisa made dinner. We'd spent the afternoon working on the back deck, something I'd been meaning to do for years. Dad, you seem happy, Lisa said, looking up from the stove. Really happy, I considered this. I am happy. I didn't think I would be, but I am. Do you ever think about Jennifer? Ryan asked. Sometimes, I admitted, but not the way I used to. I don't miss her. She's just someone I used to know. The settlement had been finalized 3 months ago. After legal fees and taxes, I'd netted approximately $2.1 million. I'd set up college funds for my grandchildren, donated $50,000 to a veterans shelter, and invested the rest conservatively. More than that, I'd started volunteering at a legal aid clinic, helping other men navigate divorce. My experience, my meticulous records, my hard-won knowledge, I could use it to help others. Jennifer was living in a small apartment in San Antonio, working as a bookkeeper for someone else's business. Bradley had left her the moment the money disappeared. She'd lost everything she'd tried to steal. That evening, I sat on my back porch watching the sunset, the same porch I'd built 20 years ago with my own hands. My phone rang. It was my neighbor, Michelle Turner, a widow who'd brought over dinner a few times. We'd become friendly. Timothy, I won't keep you, she said, cheerfully. But I wanted to invite you to our neighborhood barbecue next Saturday. Nothing fancy, just good food and good company. I'd love to come, I told her honestly. After we hung up, I remained on the porch as darkness fell. Fireflies appeared in the yard. Somewhere nearby, I heard children laughing. Jennifer had tried to steal my future. Instead, I'd claimed it for myself. This house, this peaceful evening, this quiet satisfaction, it was worth more than all the years we'd spent together. Here's what I learned at 72 years old. Never stop keeping records. Never let anyone convince you that your contributions don't matter. And never ever settle for less than you deserve just because someone hopes you're too tired to fight. I was 72 when my life fell apart. I'm 73 now and I've never been happier. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have signed those papers? Would you have fought back? Share your story in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, please subscribe. There's power in shared experiences. Thank you for listening to my story. Remember, it's never too late to stand up for yourself. Never.